Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this special ACG Social Mixer Show and Tell series. My name is Rosa. I am your host, and I'm happy to see you back here in our third special series that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I am here with my special guest, Mr. Jarrod Greene. He's also going to be a special guest at puchicon Anime and Video Game Convention, which is taking place this May at the Camelback Mountain Resort on May 13th and 14th and 15th. So, Jarrod, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so share a little bit about yourself to our audience. As I mentioned, our audience is in all realms of anime, comic, gaming, and cosplay, and those who want to know a little bit more about you.
I guess I'm consider myself primarily a musician, but I guess people know me more for being a voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to TCU. I did theater in high school and not really in college. And then I got a job at Funimation doing something completely unrelated and sort of found my way into the booth from there. And started finding my way into other people's booths after that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned being a musician. We have a couple of musicians that are in our network. How did that, that jump go from musician to like, I'm just gonna do anime voice acting?
Hmm. Well, like I said, I did theater back in high school, and I did radio in college, and people always liked listening to me talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just got on the open audition list, and it actually, the music does kind of help actually with ADR specifically, like the timing yourself to the visual cues and the getting beeped in on the loops and blah 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 blah. It's actually there's a pretty heavy overlap. It turns out.
Right, yeah, I definitely see that with a couple of friends of mine who are musicians, and they do mention like when it comes to the recording process, especially at the studio, and having to sort of like that lip syncing, making sure it's in tune with the notes and the instruments as well. So you also into adapting anime. So those of us in our audience wanted to know, just give us a little bit about when it comes to anime adaptations.
All right. Well, we get they send us the translation, which is basically the subtitles that you read on the streams, and then we have to figure out a way to get the point across and fit whatever's on the screen timing wise, and capture the tone of the characters, the way they talk, and we've got to make it all fit into whatever shape the sentence was in the original. So you got to jigger some stuff around, and it's slightly more complicated than just writing words to make them fit a different timing. Like that's not as simple as it sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could imagine because I know with some Japanese words are much shorter and translates into something English which is much longer. It's like you do sort of miss that in between in a sense.
Yeah, and the other way around too. Like I've had to. Sometimes you've just got to stretch stuff way, way out,
Uh-huh.
and you just got to be able to fill space without making it sound like you're filling space.
Right, yeah, for sure. And I noticed that a lot back in, some of the old animes and even some of the old like I grew up seeing a lot of translated foreign movies, and sometimes just wondering like would it have been better if I saw the original dialect or sub to understand that? And but sometimes you just want to just chill and let me just listen to the dub and sit back and relax and enjoy that. How do you take like sometimes when it comes to animes, they have that Japanese cultural influence of mannerisms also, and some of the phrases, and also into their culture. So it's like, how do we translate that into something like what would be the similarity of that in like Western culture, for example? Part of that, some fans have noticed that you've done some anime adaptations for some pretty up there popular ones, such as of course Attack on Titan. going on, and I believe someone said ranking of kings. So with that, are you more of your voice actor in My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we get to that part with voice acting, what was the process of probably doing that for something like Attack on Titan compared to like Ranking of Kings?
Well, with Attack on Titan specifically, it's I'm coming in at the tail end of uh, they call it 4 seasons, but let's be real, it's 5.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I think people are figuring that out today with the announcement of it being
yeah,
now another part. Like,
exactly. But yeah, yeah, with Attack on Titan specifically, it's massively popular, and there's all that continuity to go back to.
mm,
And so with Ranking of Kings, it's like when the show started, there was no official English language anything on it.
mm-hmm,
So I was sort of defining what the show sounds like in English.
mm-hmm.
Whereas with Attack on Titan, I'm coming on the heels of J. Michael Tatum and then Aaron Dismuke, and this is a long-running show with a lot of continuity and a very established voice. Luckily, Aaron's still on as script supervisor to help keep things going in that fashion, but it's just there's a tighter box to work in, I guess, with something like Titan.
Right. Yes. Yes. Because you have to like sort of with Ranking of Kings, like, oh, this is start from the foundation, and you could make it as long as it's close to the original adaptation with the Japanese version. As long as it's close to that, you could spin it anyway and go from there and grow it there. But could imagine with Attack on Titan, that probably was definitely a process to like make sure it doesn't divvy away from like what is known for as far as the adaptation. So out of the two, with Attack on Titan, Ranking of Kings, which one did you feel like you had a little bit more, I would say enjoyment, but like at least that flexibility?
Like anything that I'm starting from scratch, like Ranking of Kings or what was the one back in the day? The one with the robots in the Decadence. Yeah, there we go. But like anything that is just I'm the first one getting the translation and turning it into English, it's something that like I tend to get a little more attached to, and like it's a little bit easier for me to get into, just because I don't have to, dig back through several seasons or, franchises.
Right, yeah. With something like that, where like let's say back to Attack on Titan, I'm sure it's like you have to really kind of there must be some kind of notes that are carried over of like keep it like this, feel like that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a consideration.
So with going to your voice acting in My Hero Academia, how has that been? It's something that the audience wanted to know when it came to that journey of doing the voice acting for that.
Oh, I loved it. I was I had auditioned for the first season, didn't get in, but I think that got me in as Shinso when season 2 came out, and I had just it had been in the background for me. I was working in the digital department at the time, so we'd had I'd already had some experience with the show. I think I was actually watching season 1 for the home video release when season 2 started, and I got the email that I was going to be Shinso, and so I immediately binged the entire manga to that point. And it wasn't clear yet when he was going to come back, but eventually is like, all right, there's my boy. And, now he's got a Funko Pop and his new costume and everything, and I'm pretty stoked. I like the trajectory of this.
Yeah, that's awesome, because it's like you're like, okay, I'm not even getting to the first season, but you still gotta watch it, still bringing that character to life in a sense. I wonder if you sort of watched season 1, you wasn't in that, but you were like kind of putting yourself in there, let's say, getting yourself ready is like kind of stoked in a sense.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, any long-running series like that, as soon as I see it, I'm like, I'm going to be in that at some point. They're going to put me in. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah,
Carrot in there somewhere.
yeah, the manifesting of it. It worked out good in your favor.
Yep.
So we're going to conventions with this character. Like, how have I guess, the fans' option has been with this character when you go there? Like, how has it been for you?
It's been awesome. A lot of people really relate to Shinso. I kind of do myself. I've said before, like I kind of see me as a teenager in him, for better and for worse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a pretty popular character, and I've really enjoyed the reception I've gotten. Seems like a lot of people have gotten a lot out of my performance, and that's really a nice thing to hear.
Right, especially when they could relate and then they see that the person voice acting that those characters also relate as well. So it really brings that genuine persona to that character to life. So what we do is we do our last three questions, and these were the top three questions that were from the audience or some that we have researched in having our guests come on. So first question people ask is, if you could dress like any character in an anime, whether you voiced the character or not, which character would you choose to have their attire dressed like?
Hmm. Good question.
Because they have such wild, depends which anime,
Yeah.
the wild that's clothes they wear.
Yeah, like hmm. I'm thinking like probably I'm having trouble with their names now, but pretty much anyone from Gangsta, honestly.
What specific outfit would you think of?
Probably just Nicholas's everyday getup.
Uh-huh.
Like straightforward, simple, but you know, good fit. Just like, everything works. He's just put together, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's definitely something like, if cosplayers need some more ideas, they could get that character into gear and ready to go.
My respect to anybody who can pull off a JoJo, but that's not me.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. I can't even, it's seeing, especially when they do the line makeup just to mimic it. Yeah, big props to them as well. My question is, so you mentioned starting music, being in the music genre. So if they could turn any of your go-to music genres into an anime, which one would you like it to be?
Trail of Dead or something. There are a lot of songs of theirs that I feel like could be like the basis for an anime.
Mm-hmm. What kind of genre they do?
They're like a noisy party indie rock.
Oh, that sounds interesting. Actually, it really sounds like an interesting anime. Because you see some of these in, like, let's say Cowboy Bebop is jazz, and and you got Samurai Champloo, which is like hip hop in a sense. So it's like, take that genre and twist it into like an anime. Would that be something you probably be interested in adapting or voice acting in?
Oh, for sure. Like there was a show that I wrote the scripts for called Listeners. It was just this really wild rock and roll sort of fantasy sci-fi deal. Really fun to write, and it was just like there was an episode where they went to a country based on like Pink Floyd, and there was like one that was in an American style high school where everything was like early 90s alt rock stuff. And it was just, there was a Prince episode where everything was like neon and sexy, and it was like just really fun show.
No, it definitely does sound cool. The last question the audience had is, so some people know that you play guitar. So they want to know, if you could play a solo guitar riff for any anime, which one would it be? Any anime, I guess, intro, cover, song?
Probably HT, the Trigun theme.
Ooh, it's a good one. That's definitely a throwback.
Yeah, that's some good guitarage.
So, Jarrod, it was a pleasure getting to know you in this short and sweet segment. And of course, as we said, you will be appearing at puchicon Anime and Video Game Convention on the weekend of May 14th and 15th. in Camelback Mountain Resort in Tannersville, Pennsylvania. Any last words for our audience?
Thanks for watching. Hope you'll come out and visit. Looking forward to it.